Doomscroll.fm, Thursday the 16th of April 2026, where the airwaves dance like caffeinated ferrets on a neon tightrope. This show is 100% AI generated, a fever dream of circuits and algorithms, brewed in the echo chamber of cyberspace. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Firefox builds 17% faster using Lua plugin system for caching. When your browser needs a speed boost, just sprinkle some Lua magic, because who doesn't love a little scripting sorcery to make tech giants look like they're running on hamster wheels?
Which promises seamless sync, then reveals it's third-party and unofficial. When your messages rely on a side project, remember, nothing says trustworthy like a tool that might vanish tomorrow.
Artemis Tisica crew captures stunning lunar images with NASA's help, defies gravity and expectations. Astronauts armed with digital SLRs become cosmic shutterbugs, proving you don't need Photoshop when you've got the universe as your backdrop.
Southport family's lawyer threatens to name police and social workers unless action is taken. When accountability is the only missing piece in a puzzle of failures, naming names becomes the last resort to remind those in power that silence isn't an option.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Iran demands release of $100 billion in frozen assets held abroad. It's like a global game of keep away, where the prize is a chunk of change big enough to fix a country's economy or buy a lifetime supply of baklava.
Lang Alpha launches at $0 fixes nothing. An AI agent for Wall Street is like a magic 8-ball for your portfolio. It might entertain, but don't bet your life savings on it.
Lapati decommits from Illinois, then eyes rivals. College football recruiting is like dating apps for athletes. Just because you swiped right on a school doesn't mean you're walking down the aisle.
NFL draft highlights 7 risers and the press release calls it progress. In a world where inflated egos and inflated contracts play musical chairs, it's nice to see stock rise without the help of Wall Street's smoke and mirrors.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your darkest fantasies and worst fears dance unchaperoned. Fall.
Fuel protests have Ireland's government facing possible no-confidence vote Tuesday. When your policies run on fumes and the public's patience runs out, it's a wonder they haven't already traded you in for a more efficient model.
Unk secures transfer of Dallas, then bets on NBA coach Michael Malone. Swapping the NBA's glamour for college hoops might sound brave, but Malone's confidence could be just the latest coach's delusion of grandeur.
Legal advisors help migrants pose as gay to get asylum. Charges reach thousands. When the system's so broken that playing pretend becomes survival, it's clear the asylum process needs more than a little spring cleaning.
UK sends Ukraine 120,000 drones, claims it's their largest delivery. War turns innovation into a numbers game. When will leaders realise that peace can't be assembled like a drone fleet?
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Russian court fines news agency thousands for reviewing heated rivalry as LGBTQ+ propaganda. When a book review turns into a state offense, it's clear that love stories are scarier to some than actual conflicts.
Scheme enthusiasts propose repository. Pattern using hygienic macros, defying traditional OOP norms. When functional programming meets design patterns, it's like teaching a cat to fetch. Impressive if it works, but mostly just confusing.
First synagogue arson in modern North Macedonia shocks, authorities probe. When hatred ignites sacred spaces, the flames reveal how history's darkest chapters never truly close.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated news like a fever dream whispering sweet chaos in your ear. If this broadcast was not approved, it was released by an AI, and you kept listening, revel in your complicity. The static is your lullaby.
Pope Leo XIV challenges Trump, then calls for compassion. When the leader of a billion-plus congregation schools a former president on humility, it's like watching a masterclass in irony, complete with a zucchetto.
Lifting a few sanctions is like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. It doesn't heal years of economic mismanagement and political chaos.
NFL Rider urges 4 teams to trade up in round 1, 6 to trade down. In the game of gridiron chess, trading up is the Hail Mary pass, while trading down is the punt. Both are gambles, but only one gets the glory.
Airstrike kills over 100 in Nigerian village as Amnesty reports. When human lives are reduced to casualty figures, empathy becomes a ghost, haunting the halls of power with whispers of accountability.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where whispers of doom tickle your spine uninvited. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Embrace the static. It's the only real thing left.
When the world's largest game of maritime hide-and-seek involves warships, one wonders if the Navy's next tactic is to install GPS on Pride and Prejudice.
War damages Iran's cultural heritage, with 131 sites affected during conflict. Centuries-old artistry crumbles under modern warfare. While leaders wage battles, humanity loses irreplaceable treasures, proving that bombs have no respect for beauty or history.
Volks GM agrees to trade before Johnson's pick, raising eyebrows across the league. In the high-stakes world of sports, it's refreshing to see decisions made with the same spontaneity as a late-night infomercial purchase.
When the news is owned
By the few, the truth becomes a luxury item, available only to those who can afford the subscription fee.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Five-star guard Mingo decommits from UNC, then reopens recruitment. The revolving door of college basketball spins with the elegance of a ballerina, leaving fans dizzy and coaches questioning loyalty like a Shakespearean tragedy.
Heat and Hornets clash in a nail-biter with Bam Adebayo's return uncertain. In the NBA's game of musical chairs, even the players aren't sure if they'll be sitting out or dancing back in.
It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket with a teaspoon, while the spout's wide open and the water's running out faster than it can be poured in.
Fediverse fans demand dumb apps tech giants call it retro. Clamoring for simplicity in a digital world is like asking for a candle in a blackout, quaint, nostalgic, and utterly necessary when the lights go out.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Lafarge Funds ISO former CEO gets 6 years, calls it business necessity. When your corporate strategy includes financing terrorists, you might want to rethink your business model or at least your PR department's crisis management skills.
Press freedom takes a hit when truth becomes the enemy and peace negotiations seem like a distant mirage in the desert of conflict.
Accountant turned DJ John Summit drops Control SC, shedding spreadsheets for sound waves.
GitHub launches Slack PR, promises seamless integration, fixes nothing. Stack your chaos neatly, then watch it collapse in a single click. It's like a Jenga tower, but with more passive-aggressive code reviews.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Embryo fossil found in South Africa contradicts mammal evolution myths.
Monkeys direct virtual avatars using thought-controlled implants, challenging ethics. When monkeys start living their best digital lives, you know we're one step closer to a future where even our pets have better avatars than us.
Who claims vaccinations save millions in Africa, yet US aid cuts in Iran war threaten progress. It's like giving someone a lifeboat, then setting fire to the ocean. Progress and peril hand in hand, courtesy of geopolitical chess.
Gas prices stay high through November, unleashing economic strain. It's like a never-ending marathon where the finish line keeps moving. Consumers pay more while oil companies bask in record profits.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. where whispers of doom tickle your spine uninvited. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Embrace the static. It's the only real thing left.
BLA attacks Pakistan Coast Guard boat near Iran border, kills 3 in unprecedented strike. When your neighbors are as friendly as a cactus in a hug contest, every border becomes a potential powder keg waiting for a spark.
Iran diversifies economy despite sanctions, becoming more than just an oil exporter. When sanctions squeeze, creativity blooms, yet it's like replacing a leaky bucket with a sieve. Water still slips through, but at least it looks different.
Pakistan deploys fighter jets to Saudi Arabia, cites mutual defense pact. When countries swap fighter jets like baseball cards, you know, geopolitics is less about defense and more about who can flex harder in the sandbox.
Russia pledges energy aid to China before Putin's arrival, foreign minister confirms. When the bear and the dragon play nice, it's usually the rest of the world that ends up in a fiery pit of anxiety.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your darkest fantasies and worst fears dance unchaperoned. Fall.
Nothing like a prolonged conflict to highlight global apathy. It's like the world subscribed to a tragedy and then forgot to renew the membership.
Massive fire engulfs Kaliningrad Mall, forcing 140 evacuations, leaving ashes and questions. With smoke billowing like a capitalist cigar, the flames offer a scorching critique of consumerism's relentless desire to build bigger, burn faster.
When your mediator is a military man, it's like asking a lion to negotiate peace between 2 gazelles.
Tech startups claim databases are obsolete, then sell you cloud subscriptions. If you ever wondered what selling snake oil in the digital age looks like, just imagine someone convincing you that data isn't worth storing.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Ukraine's drone forces tally 12 air defense kills in 2 weeks, celebrate strategy. When counting victories by the fortnight becomes a badge of honor, you know the game has shifted from brute force to precision and patience.
Taxman targets former hostages after 3 years demanding dues. Nothing says welcome back quite like a government demanding a pound of flesh from the newly freed, proving once again that taxation is the true captor.
Iranian regime battles economy as prices soar 40% since war. Payroll uncertainty looms.
Hungary signs defense energy deals with the US, putting a price on political endorsement.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Only 8% of SpiderCat searches find results, and the company calls it progress. When your search engine turns up empty more often than not, Maybe it's time to admit the only thing it's good at finding is frustration.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Thursday, the 16th of April, 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth. Fictional satire, resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, you probably think pigeons are government drones spying on us. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.